Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to Global Happenings today. Early hours of the day, Nnamdi Kanu's emergency court hearing took place, and of course, there was, in summary, this was what happened. But as we speak right now, Ifeanyi Ejiofor seemed to be in very high spirit over what he called justice denied, a justice delayed, not justice denied. But before we go into his, double win today, we like you subscribe to our channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. Beside it, you say bell notification icon. Please go ahead, click on it to get notified as soon as we update our channel on YouTube. Let's start with the summary of what happened in the courtroom in favor of Nnamdi Kanu. Below is a summary of Nnamdi Kanu's court proceedings of today, the 2nd December. First, there was total absence of security operatives in court and around the outer perimeters, as was the case during previous proceedings. Second, Nnamdi Kanu was not in court and there was no officer from the DSS to explain why, but from what I surmised, both the court and the DSS might have concluded that his presence in the court was not strictly required in the sort of application that was moved in court today. However, we still protested his absence in court. Third, the court did not grant Kanu's legal team the leave to move our pending application challenging the jurisdiction of the court to continue the trial. Recall that we had filed such application arguing that the extraordinary rendition of Kanu constitutes a constitutional barrier to his trial. The court ruled that the application was not calendared for hearing today and that will be heard at the next adjourned date. Fourth, the court, after going through what it called a tight judicial calendar, moved the date of the next hearing backwards from 19th to 18th January 2022. Finally, the court ruled that it will entertain all outstanding applications at the next hearing and proceeding to make the following orders. One, that Nnamdi can be given maximum comfort possible in the detention facility. Two, that he be allowed a change of clothing. Three, that he be allowed free practice of his Jewish faith, including access to his Jewish religious material. Four, that the DSS obey all previous orders granted in the matter, including allowing Kanu any visitor of his choice. Five, that Kanu be permitted at his option to mingle freely with other inmates or any other persons at the detention facility. This was properly signed by Barrister Alo Ejiofor, Special Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB Abuja, 2nd of December 2021. Then in another news, very quickly, you will understand why there seems to be jubilation for Ifeanyi Ejiofor, as he wrote that justice delayed is definitely not justice denied. Well, exactly 2 years ago, on the 2nd day of December 2019, after the funeral ceremony of my elder brother, late Reverend Chukwumpelum Louis Ejiofor, my ancestral home in Oraifite, Anambra State, was invaded by a team of security agents comprising of the Nigerian police, the Nigerian army, and others. 4 persons were brought down in my compound, and all the houses within my ancestral home, including my brother's houses and neighbors' houses, were burnt down on that fateful day. I instituted a suit for the enforcement of my fundamental rights grossly violated by the said security agents. The Federal High Court sitting in Awka, Anambra State today, the 2nd December 2021, delivered a well-considered judgment in my favor. The court found that the security agents grossly violated my fundamental right and consequently awarded the sum of 50 million naira only in my favor against the police, against the army, and others as compensation for the gross violation of my fundamental rights, and further awarded the sum of 2 million naira only as the cost of the action. This is really great news, judging the fact that today was another court hearing too. But let's continue very quickly. The judgment may have been delayed, but the fact that the court found that my rights were grossly infringed upon and condemnable will go a long way to assuage the pains and the trauma I have been passing through over the past 2 years on account of that terrible and heart-wrenching experience. I return all glory to Almighty Chukwu Okike Abiama. May the spirit of the innocent souls that was brought down in that inversion continue to haunt those who brought them down to the end of time. He now wrote, he said, I shall not relent in my pursuit for justice for the disease, because there must be reparation on account of their unjustly bringing down. Signed by Ifeanyi Ejiofor Esquire, lead counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, indigenous people of Biafra, on the second day of December 2021. I could still recollect when that stuff went very viral in 2019, when he had to take he had to run for his life. He made it very viral that ever since he has been sitting for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case. Then I think it was Aloy Jima call that was unsaid, but he later had to leave for the states thereabouts. He now took over, and ever since he took over, then he was always complaining that he's being trailed and all that. But eventually, 2 years after, he seemed to have mastered the terrain. He seemed to now know how to go about things, and now he didn't stop at just doing his thing or trying to find a way around things. But what he now did was to go ahead and begin that being that he's also a legal person, as into judiciary, is into the judicial arm of governance, as well as a lawyer. He understands the dynamics of the law. He had to do all he could within the ambience of his knowledge, and constitutional right. He filed a suit. He patiently waited, and while he was also pursuing Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's case, he was also looking out for justice for those who went down on that fateful day. Don't forget, the reason why all these things happened was simply because he was the counsel to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I just guess maybe those after that time was a way of scaring him into not taking the job. But as dogged as he is, he decided to forge in. That's one of the things I noticed about lawyers generally. They're actually, most often than not, they're actually very fearless people. Lawyers, journalists. That quickly reminds me, very quick one here. Omoyele Sowore was made a video viral today that he actually went in. He went in to look to sit, as in to witness the court case hearing of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu today, and he was really surprised. According to him, he saw his vehicle battered, and he suspected that the hoodlums were hired by security persons who didn't want him to come around. I could also remember that the last hearing too, he also made a claim, a very strong one too, where videos were made viral where some sort of hoodlums also came for him. And this also was still the same case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. These are the things that some persons keep saying at the backdrop of a lot of things. But it's good to know that there's this general saying that the common man's last hope is always the judiciary. It's good to know that the judiciary is up and running, and it's nice to know that justice delayed is definitely not justice denied. And it's good to also know that it's coming from quarters that we least expect. Well, I would say another congratulations to those who have been seeking for justice, and they get it. I just hope and pray that Nigeria keep moving from one good transition to a higher one. It will be good again. Let's meet in the comment.